How are you? This is a signal flag. This is an exact reproduction of a flag that they use. This is the waving flag that they use. They had several flags. This one being a 4 foot by 4 foot was for a man on foot. They would find a high spot, particularly on a ridge or treetop. They would even make certain stands to get up elevated where you could spot the flag. They also had a 16-foot pole with a 6 foot by 6 foot flag on it, so you could get the flag way up in the air, so you could wave it and the other party could see it. Now they could signal long distances with these flags. They could signal miles. Yeah, that's what I was talking about, the tree. They could signal miles via relay. So in other words, I would signal to a party as far as I could see. They would turn and signal to the next party, and they could relay the signal for miles doing it that way. We use a series of codes which incorporate ones and twos, very much like dots and dashes for Morse code. And you can see in my code book here, this is an actual wartime code. This is our preconcerted code, and you can see 1 that is advanced, 2 is ammo exhausting. So how you determine the 1s and the 2s, and I'll show you with a flag, is left and right. So a 1 would be on the left side, and a 2 would be on the right side. So in other words, what I would do is I would signal like this. This is what we call attention. You just wave the flag back and forth. And I would get the other party's attention over there, and they would likewise wave back and forth, letting me know they see me. Then I would come to the ready. This is ready position. Then I would start my message as soon as they dropped their flag. They would start writing down my message I sent. So what I would send, and this is what I would send. I'm going to send federal attack. So federal being on this side would be a 2. So federal is 2 2s. 1, 2, that's federal. So then I would say federal attack. That's 3 1s on this side. 1, 1, 1. And then bring the flag up and then drop the flag, and they know I'm done. They would decode my message, and they would likewise return. What they would do is signal for attention on the other side, and I would likewise signal attention. I'd come to the ready, bring my flag down, then they would send me a response, and usually it would be 3 sets of 1s 2 times, and that is message received and understood. If they held their flag up like this, I knew they were fixing to send something. So I would likewise decode. So we could communicate back and forth as long as we wanted to. Signal Corps also could signal at nighttime because they had a set of torches, which are very much like the flags on a pole. It would be a torch. It was usually made out of copper, about this long, had baffles in it. They would light it, it'd have a wick in the end, and they would wave the torch back and forth just like the flag. They would all have a foot torch at their feet, so you'd see a fixed position, because at nighttime you can't hardly tell where the guy is standing. So if you had a fixed point and then the waving torch, they could read it. Signal Corps was also in charge of telegraph, and they used telegraph a lot. Sherman did not love flags. It was too slow for Sherman. Sherman used telegraph a lot, so Signal Corps was incorporated with telegraph quite a bit. However, they did use flags. You had to communicate all the time being in Signal Corps. Signal Corps had the highest mortality rate probably of any branch, because you were out front, you were waving a flag, you were visible to the enemy, and they just shoot you. But most of the time they wanted to capture you because you had the codes. Does anybody have any questions about the Signal Corps? It's kind of an unknown thing. People don't study it a whole lot.
What did you do on rainy days?
Rainy days, the flag just got kind of wet, and you signaled.
And you just didn't signal with a fire?
And I've signaled this flag when it's wet. So in the motion of signaling, you have to swoop the flag back like this. If you don't, it gets tangled up. So if this flag is wet, I can still keep it untangled by moving it back as I signal. See, I just kind of motion it back, and it doesn't get tangled up. And that works in high wind and conditions like that. These guys did this every day, all day. So they knew it. They would not have had a code book. They would have memorized the codes.
So
And we have these
here at
things.
Allatoona, where was the signaling post?
I don't know exactly where it was.
We do. Because we walked it before. You go up there.
It was
you go
near
up
the
that
fort,
way
correct?
and go. No, it's over here,
Further?
facing Tennessee.
Okay.
Yeah. If you walk up there, it's
Used to work at the,
over there.
tell
At Red Top.
Red Top.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out. I've been doing this event
The tree's
for
not,
many
obviously
years.
it died, so they had to cut it down, but there's like a plaque right there.
And I've done this as Signal Corps quite a few times too.
How far is that away?
Just around the bend and up the hill.
Yeah, it's before you get to the Star Fort.
The Star Fort's over here.
Over here. Okay.
So
Different
I
direction.
think they did it to catch from coming down from Tennessee.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
then
that
you
makes
could
sense.
still see Kennesaw too, though.
Right.
I think I know what you're talking about. That tree, like way on the other side.
Yeah, but the tree, they
yeah.
cut it down.
So-
Yeah.
How close is that to the redoubt, the eastern redoubt? Because that's where we're doing a battle reenactment later today.
I had to ask where that was, so I'm not sure.
I mean, I've walked this whole battlefield, but I can't tell you exactly where the eastern redoubt is. But I've walked this whole battlefield.
Yeah, I've been all over.
So that's
too.
not,
It's been
you're not
many
going to be at
years.
the fort.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Signal Corps was also pulled from every branch. They pulled from cavalry, infantry, artillery,